All right, let's be real. Most farmers are out there working incredibly hard, but they're stuck growing crops that barely break even. But what if I told you there's this whole other world of farming? A handful of people are quietly making an absolute fortune from it. We're talking about plants hiding right under our noses that could totally transform your income. So, let's get into it.
And this really says it all, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got traditional crops. We're talking razor-thin margins, right? A constant grinding struggle just to break even. But then, you look at these niche plants. We're talking up to $80 a pound for some of them. This isn't just about a little extra profit, no way. It is a completely different business model. Sticking with the old way, you're basically leaving a gold mine just sitting there untouched.
Okay, so let's jump right in. I want to do a kind of quick hits list of some of the most promising plants out there. And listen, this isn't some pie-in-the-sky theory. These are real plants with real hungry markets already generating serious profits for people who know about them. So first up, we've got moringa. People literally call this thing the miracle tree. And for good reason. It's an absolute powerhouse of nutrients, a true superfood. And what's so incredible is that pretty much every single part of this plant is valuable.
Yeah, the potential here is just staggering. It grows unbelievably fast, even in bad soil. And just get a load of this market price for dry leaves, 20 to 40 bucks a pound. Why? Because health food stores and supplement companies, they just can't get enough of it. They're constantly looking for more.
Okay, next on the list is Sichuan pepper. And this one is all about scarcity and demand. We're not talking about your average, everyday spice here. Not even close. This is a premium ingredient. It's that secret weapon in fine dining that creates that unique, tingling sensation. And here's the kicker. There's almost no domestic supply in the US. I mean, look at this. The price difference is just insane. A typical spice might get you, what, $5 a pound? High-quality Sichuan pepper can command up to $80. And chefs? They will happily pay that premium because there is simply no substitute for what it does. That right there, that's scarcity creating a massive opportunity. All right, moving on to Tulsi. You might know it as holy basil. Now, if you're looking for something that's just a reliable, rock-solid market, this is it. The demand, particularly from tea companies who are always looking for bulk suppliers, is super steady and it's actually growing every single year. You know what really makes Tulsi such a smart choice is its market diversity. Think about it. You're not locked into just one buyer. You've got tea companies, you've got essential oil distillers, you've even got high-end restaurants all competing for the stuff. And that wide-ranging demand is exactly why the dried leaves consistently pull in $20 to $50 a pound. Okay, so hearing about all these prices is great, but it's one thing to talk about it, and another to see it in action. So let's look at a real-world case study of just how powerful this kind of shift can be. This is the story of how one farmer completely turned their finances around with just a single acre of land. Yeah, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? We're talking about a plant called ashwagandha. It's an ancient medicinal herb. In just one season, 1 acre grossed $48,000. And after all the expenses were paid, that farmer walked away with over $30,000 in pure profit. But here's the real kicker. That represented a 200% return on investment. Let that sink in. A 200% ROI in a single season. Now that is the kind of profitability that can fundamentally change your life and your entire business. So this brings us to a really crucial point because, look, having the right plant is only half the battle. Real success, that comes from having the right strategy. And thankfully, there's a simple but really powerful blueprint you can follow. This is the formula right here, and it's so simple it's brilliant. Step 1, research your local market. Step 2, and this is the absolute key. Please do not forget this. Find your buyers before you plant a single seed. Seriously, so many people get this completely backward. Then you start small, prove that the process works, and only then do you scale up. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking right now. If this stuff is such a gold mine, why isn't everyone and their brother doing it? And that is a great question. The answer is actually your single biggest advantage. It really just boils down to 3 things. First, honestly, a simple lack of awareness. Most people just don't know these crops even exist. Second, the market is still really underdeveloped, which is great news for you because it means very little competition. And finally, people get scared off by that exotic label. But the funny thing is, a lot of these plants are actually easier and cheaper to grow than a basic tomato.
All right, now, we have saved the most valuable one for last. I have to warn you, this plant isn't a quick flip. It's a long-term investment. But for those who have patience, it is the undisputed king of profitable plants. This is the one that really does create millionaires.
We're talking about American ginseng. For centuries, this little root has been one of the most prized botanicals on the entire planet. And its value today? It's just extraordinary.
So this is kind of the first step on the ladder. Even young, starter roots can sell for a pretty respectable $30 per pound, and hey, that's already profitable. But with ginseng, the real money is in the waiting game.
Because with time and patience, as those roots mature over, say, 5 to 10 years, the price just skyrockets. We are now talking $500 per pound. The value literally increases exponentially as it gets older.
And this is the absolute peak. For mature roots that are grown using what's called a wild simulated method, which basically just means you're growing them in a forest to mimic how they grow naturally, the price can hit $1,000 per pound. And no, that is not an exaggeration. That is a documented, proven reality.
To put that in perspective for you, there was one farmer up in Wisconsin who waited 10 years. His harvest from just a tiny quarter-acre of land sold for over $150,000. That is the kind of life-changing potential we're talking about here.
Look, the opportunity is absolutely real. The markets are there and the demand is growing every day, and we've really only scratched the surface today. So if you want to see some deeper dives on how to actually grow and market plants just like these, you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed because that's exactly what's coming up next.
So I'll just leave you with this question. From a quick win with something like moringa to the long game, patient investment of ginseng, which one of these plants do you think could change your financial future? Let me know down in the comments which one you'd grow. Thanks so much for watching.